guys.
Well, welcome back to SideQuest. In case you didn't know, or if your brain has just been too busy spiraling to notice, it is Mental Health Month.
It is.
Which, you know, is great in theory because nothing says take care of yourself like being fully aware of your mental health while actively not doing anything about it.
Well, we all have an addiction to do about it. And
listen, I don't know about you, but I can give great, solid, life-changing advice to literally anybody.
But I can't
and then immediately ignore it for myself.
100%. 100%.
So today we're just talking about that. The high-functioning chaos, the I'm fine when you're absolutely not fine, the showing up, doing your job, being a whole person while your brain is just doing the absolute most behind the scenes.
Yes.
Because if your mind has just been a little loud lately or a lot loud, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Well, let's speak on the one thing that we had talked about, probably a couple episodes ago with having children and postpartum depression and how many women it had affected over the years. And I'm going to talk about we've been having babies hundreds, thousands, millions, whatever of years. And the stigma of what they would call baby blues.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because there is a big difference in baby blues. Baby blues were considered those anxious feelings up to 2 weeks after birth.
Yeah.
Now, anything that lasts beyond that, you would, of course, have to have a doctor's diagnosis of postpartum depression. But anything beyond those 2 weeks, you should absolutely speak to a healthcare professional because it's not normal to continuously feel that. Once it ends in those 2 weeks, that's the baby blues section. Yeah. And then
you should mention
postpartum depression.
That you should mention any change in feelings to your medical professional.
Exactly.
Regardless of if it's been a day, a week, a month, it doesn't matter. Mention it because it's important, and it's important for them to know so that they can keep an eye on everything too, so that if it does become something more, they're already ready and already have steps in place. So that way treatment and help for you can be assessed and given to you as quick as possible.
Exactly. Well, and because a lot of people think, oh, you're just sad. How can you be sad? You just had a baby. But it's literally a mental block. Like there is no way to overcome it without some kind of help. And I've known a lot of women that have dealt with postpartum depression. And fortunate for me, I didn't experience it. I did have some anxiety and issues afterwards, but that was more in my ability to parent than that sadness inside of me. I was scared of everything. Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? And I mean, I didn't get that hopelessness or that feelings of inadequacy that comes with the postpartum depression.
I will tell you that it's a subject that I don't share with many people, but I'm going to now share it with the world. My parents were married 20 years before they had me. And when I was born, my mother passed away 4 days afterwards, during which time, my dad was grieving and everything else. Things happen. My dad ended up remarrying a wonderful woman who raised me and treated me like her own. And I am forever, forever grateful. I didn't find out about this until I was getting married and I saw my birth certificate for the first time, and it didn't have the woman who raised me's name on it. It had my birth mother's name on it. And I had called my father at work because I had to ask him where it was. And he had said to me, it's in my safety deposit box. Here's how you get in. And I need to speak to you when I get home. And I was like, okay. And I didn't really think anything of it. And I had sat in there holding that birth certificate. And Tom was waiting in the car, and he ended up coming in and he goes, hey, are you okay? What are we doing here? We got to get over to get the license. And I handed it to him and he goes, well, that doesn't say Faith. And I said, no. And he goes, well, did you call your dad? And I said, I did. And I told him what my dad said. And he said, well, don't do anything until you talk to your dad. Don't think anything until you talk to your dad. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay. And then he said, do you want to just do this a different day? We don't have to go today. And I mean, we had to go then. And I was like, no, we have to go because we had an appointment and everything. So we went and we took care of it. When we came back, my dad came over and And Tom went outside to mow the lawn so we could have our moment. And that's when he told me that, my mom had me and then passed away, and that she was best friends with Faith, who was the woman who raised me. And she had asked Faye to kind of take care of us. And it just ended up, that's how it worked out anyways. No, there was no overlapping or anything. I want to point that out. So time goes on, Tom and I get married and we have kids. So here we are having my son, Dean. I was born July 19th. My mom passed away July 24th. I was due for Dean July 28th. I had him July 26th. I know that's a lot of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how she died. I just know that she did die after having. My dad didn't like to talk about it. And I don't know why in the retrospect of life, I never thought to ask.
Yeah.
Until I'm sitting there at the doctor's office and confirmed that I had a child inside me, and we're talking, and he said, all right, well, let's, get some medical history, blah, 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 blah. And we go through, and he gets to my mom. And so I end up telling him, what happened. And he goes, well, do you know why? And I said, no. And he goes, you need to find out why. And I just was like, the feeling of dread that I got from that, like something's going to happen because of that.
Right.
So I ended up, calling my dad, and it turned out my mom had an enlarged heart or a hole in the heart, and even to this day, I'm not sure what it was. And whether he's honest or not, and I'm not thinking he's lying to me, but I think maybe he genuinely doesn't remember everything.
Right. Well, that's crazy too, because whenever I was pregnant with Dalton, they ended up finding gallstones in my gallbladder, and my mom started having a spiral moment because whenever she had me, she had a baby before me that didn't survive after he was born. And my mom was very fearful of me taking any kind of pain medication or anything because I think he did have a congestive heart failure, and that's why he passed. But I have not really ever dug into the details on that either, because I know it's a hard thing for my mom because he passed, I think it was just 3 days after her 19th birthday. So,
Ooh.
I mean, it was a rough thing for my mother. And I haven't asked too many questions. And I think that she's even told me that she was in denial the whole time she was pregnant with me. And she didn't even have a name picked out, nothing. Like, she was just convinced, that she wasn't going to get another baby. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of emotional changes that occur during pregnancy for women.
Yes.
And it's not just for the woman, because I know that, men experience the anxiety and they
am I going to be a good father?
The craziness of, oh my God, I'm bringing life into the world.
Yep. And worrying about caring for that life and not just providing. And people, and that is the stigma there is they think, oh, they only care about, how much money they're going to have to blow. That's not true. That, men do think about, like, this thing is little and fragile and easily, like, I could drop this, like, and I mean, and the fear, and I'm only saying this from things that Tom had said to me, like, when we sat there, and we were very open about things we were scared of. And I told him, I was like, I'm afraid what happened to my mom's going to happen to me. And I was very fearful of that. And he kept trying to reassure me, like, that's not what's going to, but even today, if I talk about it with him now and we have it, and he just says to me, he goes, that wasn't the future that was destined for you. And that's why it didn't happen. And maybe because she was up in heaven, and by this time Faye had passed away too. So I had both of them up in heaven. And he said maybe it was the two of them that just ensured that you were
working together, making sure you're okay.
Yep. So and that's how I take it now and try to hold on to it. But I mean, I worry, is this something that I have to, pass on to my own daughter and say, hey, this is something you might have to worry about.
Right.
But we don't know.
Right.
So that's the thing that kind of sucks about it. But like you were saying, Nate, you worry about men and their mental health with it as well. But I keep rolling back to, like, the 50s, like, and what we were saying about with the baby blues. Oh, it's just the baby blues. But these women whose husbands, I got you pregnant. Okay, I married you. It doesn't mean I love you. Doesn't mean I care about you or whatever. And you could be, okay, yeah, I do love you, but they didn't grow up with a father who was active in their life and participated with like a pregnancy or parts with the mother.
Mhm.
And the dismissiveness of like, and the way 1950s life was, whether that was how life was or just how it was portrayed from things
Well,
that we
a lot
saw.
of women, if they had any kind of mental health problems, it was considered hysteria. And
Yeah.
then they treated them with the shock therapy, or they put them into asylums, and
Yeah.
they committed them for a lot of the big fields that we have today.
Yeah. That we weren't allowed to have.
Or they would have condemned us for witchcraft or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's
why we got better at hiding.
And the thing is too, like, whenever you talk about it being mental health month, what does that really mean? Like, you see people that try to raise awareness with their posts and their quotes and everything. But at what point do you actually act and help bring more awareness?
Yeah.
There needs to be a big focus because a lot of the problems that we see in today's society, like if we had the mental health access that we need, then some of these things could easily be addressed, and the public wouldn't be so chaotic and so
and addressed before they become something more, because a little bit of paranoia feds into a little bit of undiagnosed bipolar or an undiagnosed schizophrenia, and then it feeds into that and it feeds into that, and it becomes bigger before addressing it, because it never was addressed. If it was addressed earlier or caught earlier, management, and I know that there are things that do not have cures, but they do have treatments.
Like you can manage your symptoms. Yes.
Yes. You could manage and be able to live a life, which is the point. I mean,
there's a huge pressure to just be okay, in quotes, I'm saying, or just to be yourself or work on yourself or something. Like there's this huge pressure. Like everybody thinks, oh, there's a big fix, or I can do this or I can do that. But it's not that simple. I mean, you have to work every single day at improving your own mind.
Yep.
And that's one of the hardest things to make those that don't struggle with mental health understand, is that every day is exhausting because you're trying to function as a normal adult. You're trying to do your responsibilities and you're trying to fulfill the needs of your family, and you're trying to make sure that all the bills are paid and everything is where it should be. And, I got to take care of my yard. I got to clean my house. Everything amounts up. And then on the back burner, you still have your mind saying, you didn't do enough.
Yep.
You fucked up. You don't have it together. And meanwhile, it's the hardest thing to not believe that small voice in your head, that voice that tells you can't do it.
Tiny little doubt.
Yep. And it just takes one little bit of doubt to ruin your whole day. And it does. It grows and it grows and it grows and it grows. And it's just like adding wood to a fire, and eventually you're blazing.
And it's just, and that's the reason for, like, Mom for a minute, we had talked to, and we try to mention that every time. It's just reaching out for the little bit of kindness, because the stigma is there. There's stigma on everything. And it comes to a point of almost thinking, while you were saying there, and raising the awareness and the cause and stuff, which is how have we come to a point where it's not what's most important, but who yells the loudest? And that's the thing that gets me, is if there's a group that yells the loudest and all they're saying is, I don't understand why we can't just have, pineapple on all pizza. And the rest of us are going, I don't like pineapple, but they're screaming about it, the powers that be or whatever. Or we all just go, fine, just freaking put the pineapple on all the pizza because we're sick of hearing about it. And
that's what I was saying to you, like that social pressure, that social pressure to just be like everybody else, but you're not like everybody else. And
then you gave into it, and now
so you spend your time unhappy, and then the whole time you're anxious because you're like, I don't like this, but I want to fit in. And
we're not allowed to be. Individuality is forced upon everybody, but not celebrated or allowed by others. And I know that's like a conundrum, a kerfunkel of a sentence there, but it's somebody stating, I believe that you can be and you should be whoever you want to be. However, I don't want to give a crap that you're doing it. I don't want to hear about it, but I'll say that you can do it, but I don't want to like it. Now I don't want you to do it at all. Now there's too many of you. And it just bounces around to a point where, like, I don't remember why we were trying to get this going or get this to be something, because it just got so muddled with everything else, like my perfunkled sentence back there.
Well, and that's exactly what I'm saying to you too, as far as the way that you just literally have to try to function, but still be so broken in your mind. And that makes you anxious. That makes you depressed because you feel like you can't keep your thoughts sorted, and you feel like you can't, like, one of my biggest things is I am somebody that likes to completely finish what I'm doing before I start something else. And so it's the hardest thing for me to multitask. Like, multitasking makes me so anxious because I'm scared I'm going to forget a step. And generally I do forget a step. But a lot of times, you just put too much thought into it. And I don't know how to quiet my brain. I don't know how to ever make it stop over processing. And I think that a lot of the world's like that. I see familiar behaviors in others that I know I feel in myself. And as I watch it, it's just like, okay, I get it. Like, I don't know. And then I see people around me constantly apologizing, which I'm guilty of myself.
Yes, me too.
And I can see, and I'm like, no, you're good. Like, I want you to sort yourself out before you present yourself. Like, I get it. Yeah. I get it. You don't have to camouflage this for me. I understand. And I mean, it's just it's a constant thing. It's a constant struggle. I mean, even just going into work, like, being overloaded in the moment, especially whenever things are happening around me that I can't control. That's so hard. It's so hard for me to be able to do any kind of task because the thought of not finishing it makes me so anxious. And then that anxiety just builds and builds and builds. And then I freaking overflow because I keep forgetting things. And I drive everybody crazy too, because I do this thing where, like, if I haven't completed something, I leave a light on or I leave the cabinet open where I've done it. So that way I know which one to come back to. It's like a visual signal to me. I can't even tell you how many times John's hit his head on the cupboard downstairs when I'm putting away groceries and dishes and stuff. Yeah, because it's a weird thing. And I don't know why. And I leave lights on too. That's like my indicator of I'm not done in that room. Is that weird?
I don't know. I had a whole point to go with that. And then you would start, I thought about John hitting his head. And then I was just stuck there.
He was so angry too. He was like, why is this door open? And I was like, I'm so sorry, my brain. But it's funny, like, your brain just automatically has to do these things. Like that's a signal for me to know that, hey, you're not done here. And it works. It works. I mean, for some reason, it does work for me, but it doesn't work for everybody else, because then they come behind me and they're like, what is going on? Or they close something on me and then I forget what I was doing.
I used to be a big list person. And you know what something is, and I can go through an entire house and clean somebody's entire house from top to bottom, go home, decompress, get in bed, just about to fall asleep and think, shit, I never turned off their shower. You know, that rinse down you do so don't sting like bleach. Like what I like to do is after I bleach it, I have, like, I don't know, it depends on whose house it is, but I take, like, it has to be Fabuloso people. I don't know what it is with that, but that's permeates everything. Put a little bit of Fabuloso in there and let it steam up while I go do everything else, and it knocks out the bleach smell, and then it just smells like Fabuloso, and people are like, oh my God, it is so great.
So good in here.
And the peach one actually works the best. It's the less abrasive on the nose if anybody wants to. And hey, Fabuloso, if you want to sponsor us, here we are. But it just, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I never turned their shower off. I did. Mm-hmm. I know I did, because I always make sure I check 3 times before I leave, because I'm afraid. Funny.
John does that with the front door. Like, whenever he goes to leave, he's always worried he didn't shut it all the way. And so he comes back, and there's times he's driven down the road and done it and come back. Yesterday, we went into the store and we get almost in and he goes, oh, did I shut off the car? I said, I'm pretty sure. And like the car has this little app that you can pull up and you can see if it's running and stuff. And so I hit stop on it just in case because it didn't say it was running. And he was like, no, I got to go check it. So he went back outside to check to see if the car was still running.
No, you know what? But it gave him good peace of mind. So I commend you for that, John, because why waste gas? It's expensive.
Well, and I don't even like, it doesn't bother me. He thinks, and he was complaining because, he's walking a little slow. He's sore because he was walking funny with his foot.
Yeah.
And he was walking slow, and I was like, Jonathan, I really don't care. Take your freaking time. Nobody gives a shit. Yeah. Like
we're just,
there was people buzzing around us and, being rude and whatnot. But I was like, I don't care, man. Just walk. I'll get sassy with him if I have to.
Yeah, I don't mind meander. If we got time, dude, let's meander and walk slow. I don't care. Let's look at shit.
Let's just go.
Yeah, if we're on a mission, I need you to like hurry up. The only thing that I'm really horrible at is when we do grocery shopping because I map that shit out in my head. And then I do not like to deviate. So don't say to me, hey, can we go down? Yada. No, we can't go down that aisle. We have to do my entire aisle in my head first. My entire way I got to go. Then you can hit your other aisles. But I can't do it until I've completely gone through mine.
I hear you. I mean, I get that. I like to be organized too. And I like to load the groceries onto the belt because the way that my family puts it on is just so chaotic. And I try to put the same size boxes together because I'm imagining how they're going to go in the bag.
Yes. And there is a game you can play that is
I don't know why it's weird. It's the silliest thing, but it's a control thing for me. But that's like those things that happen that you can't control. Like think about the intrusive thoughts. Like, oh my God, if I don't do this way, it's going to go chaotic. And oh my God, it's just how your brain works.
You realize that Dean actually mentioned to that yesterday. He was talking about this movie. It started out, what did we even, we started out talking about, because Dean in college takes this course called Native American Studies, and he really enjoys it. So we're sitting at dinner and he's telling me about this movie they watched, which was called The Education of Littlefoot. So he's telling me the story, and but he just kept coming back to the point of, I didn't understand it because there was no education. And I was like, the education was him finding out like this is like the world does things like this to people and ... That's what I gathered from what he explained to me. However, that I don't think that is everything the movie was about. I think he's missing huge plots, but I digress. And I can't remember where I was because Jen passed gas. Sorry, Jen. I have to throw you under the bus there, man. I'm trying not to breathe in. And I'm having a hard time.
Listen, I've already told you I got tummy troubles.
She does.
Lately.
I don't care. Dude, let him rip. Better to be in shame than in pain.
Is going to be a relief. But the fact that it smells like fresh cut wet grass, that's what got me. I was like, oh my God, go away. And it was poofing out of my hoodie. And I was like, oh no, I'm so sorry.
Oh God, I love you, Jen. I really do.
I mean, well, you gotta let it rip. You gotta let it rip, man.
Yes. Better to be in shame than in pain.
Well, the things that you're talking about, like what you're saying, it's funny because, like, think about not just intrusive thoughts. Think about like random mood drops.
I never even got to the point of his intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me because you were distracted by my flatulence.
So he was, after he talked about it, he said he was thinking about it.
I got kicked out of class when I was a kid for farting in class. I was like, the fact that I'm not sitting here just ripping ass back and forth is something, but I apologize. I'm sorry. Good. Continue with his intrusive thought.
He just said that he was angry about the person that had hurt Littlefoot. And he was like, and then I just had like this intrusive thought of like being able to like rip the guy's head off. And do you think that's okay? And I was like, no, because that is the exact response I had. And I kind of looked at him and I was like, wow, you are my kid. I mean, if I didn't see it come out of me, I wouldn't think it. But yeah, you did. And you are. And but the fact that he had said that to me, and that's something, because we look at it at a mental health standpoint, that people don't like to talk about it and they don't want to ask about it. But that's why he was like, I had this thought and it made me worried.
Right.
Is this something I should worry about? And I said, honestly, no, I don't. I think your response was that of anger and upsetness and what you would wish would happen for the fact of they hurt a child was hurt.
Right.
By an adult.
Right.
So I said, I don't believe that you're thinking it in that kind of way, in a malicious way that would, become nefarious into something else. So he kind of took that as what it was and then asked if we could buy cappuccino K-cups. So I figured he was all right after.
Yeah, he was good. He was good. Well, and you do sometimes have to stop and question yourself. Like, is this normal? Am I okay? But the thing is that's normal to have the why am I like this moments. I mean, you have got to understand that everybody else is having these same thoughts. Like they might not be in the same context in the moment and everything, but trust me, we all think them. We all think them. Have you ever been to the edge of a cliff and you go like, oh, if I just slip rope, yep, there we go.
Yep.
Like you just imagine it all happening to you.
The balcony at church. I cannot, I have to get Tom to go up there to clean because I had been up there and I was carrying the vacuum and Faye had come into the church and she said something and I don't know why I would turn to look because that's what you do. And I tripped over my own foot and I fell. There's like 2 stairs there. And she farted again. And I fell. And it was so scary because, the balcony railing there is kind of low, in my opinion. Faye thought that I fucking was falling over the thing.
Oh my God.
So she got scared and like she screamed and then,
everybody
Tom
was
ran in,
like,
everybody
oh, no.
ran in. And I mean, I was all right. I had a wicked bruise on the side of my hip, but like, I was just, I can't go up there. It's like a fear. It's like, I can't go up there because I'm going to fall over the ledge. And that's the intrusive thought was like, it's going to happen every time. So I should just fall over the edge.
Well, and there's a lot of things that come with once you get to that point where everything is just an overthought and you have those random, that's what I was saying, your random mood drops. Did you not just tell me you had a bitchy morning?
Oh, I did. No reason why. I was perfectly fine. I was, bebopping around. I was getting all my ducks in a row. And then, I had to take the kids to school and I said, you know what? I got a little extra cash. You guys want to do a Dunkin' run? And they were like, yeah. So I said, okay. Then I pull up that app and I can, like I said, Dunkin' can never remember it. It's a Daydreamer. I remember it now. Daydream Refresher. It's the Sabrina Carpenter. I remember. Look at that.
Yeah,
2 episodes in and I remember. But I couldn't, like, Faye likes the same one, but she likes it with the banana foam, and I don't like the banana foam. I feel like then it just tastes like banana. And she was like, no, I like the banana foam, but I couldn't figure out how to freaking change because I just hit my favorite, and that's this drink. And I couldn't figure out how to change it. So I got all pissed off, and I screamed the F word for probably 10 minutes. And then Alexa yelled at me because, she doesn't like when I swear. She was also playing and I might have yelled at her because she played the wrong song. Then we got in the car and like every car was behind me. And I just was like, just screaming. And then finally, like the kids are just sitting there. And then Faye's like, bloop. And I'm not going to lie. The song she picked was fucking Rammstein's Tani. And I was like, okay, I'm good. And I let like all the rage fall out of my body. And then I was like, and we pulled up at Dunkin' and Dean's like, I'm just going to go in and get it. And Faye goes, I'll help. And they both jump out of the car and go in.
They're like, bye, Ma.
Yeah. Come back.
Well,
and I said, but the funny thing is I must have still had a little bit of rage because I go, there's no fucking straw. And Dean goes, held it out like a freaking bouquet.
He's like, shit, here you go, Mom. Yep. You're solved.
So sorry. Thank you. Sorry,
I mean,
kids.
and whenever you hit a point, like you get a little burnt out on feeling that way all the time too, because you don't know how your mood's going to be. And that makes your mood even worse.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, I am so just run down and I just need like a mental moment. And that's freaking normal.
And I wonder if that's part of my perimenopause, like this weird rage. And it just fluctuates up like out of nowhere. Like I'm like, la, 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 angry bitch.
Well, and it gets you feeling like stuck and overwhelmed and just kind of numb with the world.
For doing it. And I'm like, why did I do that? Like, why did that anger just surge to the point where I couldn't control it? And I had to like scream out. I did it the other day because the dog freaking pissed again. This time it was Dean that was home.
Oh God.
And I had the same, and he didn't come down and say you good. He was like, I am not going out until after I hear her not being angry. And I got all upset and I'm like, because I had just cleaned the house completely from top to bottom. So I was just screeching and I threw the mop bucket again.
I could see this happening.
I didn't fall in it this time. So
good plan.
Good.
You avoided the river.
But the thing that got me was before I had finished everything and before I had left, because I had to take Faith somewhere, I had taken the dogs out.
Right.
He didn't want to go out. Gus, who's my itty bitty pity committee. And I kept calling him. He's just looking at me like, why? You're going to give me a treat regardless if I go or not. And I don't feel like getting up and I'm fine. So I was like, all right, whatever. So I took the girls out. And and Ginger goes to the bathroom. Ginger, I don't need to you just open the door. She does her business. She comes back. Easy peasy. Snowflake, who is, what do we call her? A papillon. Yeah. Is hopping in the grass, chasing butterflies. The most freaking adorablest thing I've ever fucking seen. Like she's like, bloop, 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 bloop. So I'm enjoying the little scene, everything. So they come back in. I take Faye. And then I come back to that. To pee, because it's him. You can, you know, and I'm like, oh my God. So I raged. But I just don't know why, like.
Well, it's simple things like that can be avoided that just really frustrate you. And you're just like, yeah. And whenever you feel like you're the only one trying to fix the problem, that's even more frustrating. Yes. But I mean, I think, like I said, I think it's usual to get that burnout. It's normal to have those rage moments. And I think a lot of times it's appropriate. But what do you think are ways that can really help to combat those? I mean, one of the most important things that I've found lately is putting in appropriate boundaries. It doesn't matter in what kind of person it is. Like whenever I first meet someone, I'm setting my boundaries from the moment we begin speaking, because it's too hard to build relationships without them knowing how you are. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's, and especially new relationships, something with somebody brand new, like you're saying. So here's my boundaries. Here's where I'm at. And sometimes that's good because you may have not had those boundaries earlier, but somebody taught you that valuable lesson. Yep. So and now you know where to set that. You know exactly where to set that boundary. And one thing about me is I always tell people, like, if you're going to talk about something and you don't want it spoken about, like, don't say it in front of me, because it's not like I'm going to run and tell everybody your business. But if I am personally asked, I'm not going to lie. Yes. I 100% will not lie for somebody. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at lying for myself. I'm not very good at lying in general. It's something that I'm not very good at doing. And so I 100% will not. But the other things that I can think of that really stick out in ways that help is you also need to be able to know when to say no and to not explain why you're saying no. Yes. No is a complete sentence. Yep. No is a complete sentence. You don't have to have a reason for anything. Like I said, this is important with boundaries. Boundaries are really hard to set. I agree. It is a very difficult thing to do, especially dependent on the situation, but you have to be able to say no and not explain yourself. Yeah. Something else that I always do is I try to find small wins in everything that I accomplish. It doesn't matter if it's a little thing or a big thing. Like I'm always trying to better myself. I think every day that I have neglected to learn something is a day wasted. That's really what I think, but I don't know. So, another thing is like some people just try to ignore the situation until it goes away or gets worse. 90% of the time that's hard, because honestly, that's like your chaotic brain saying, it'll just go away. If I don't think about it, the problem doesn't exist. Yep. And me, I definitely use dark humor. Same. I try to find the humor in every situation, and generally it's dark humor. And I've kind of just decided this is my personality. I mean, I will deflect a lot. Deflect a lot too. I will do that. Right. Or I'll Google and diagnose myself just like a pro. Like a pro. We're all doctors on Google. I mean, a lot of times you really just need to learn your body. Stop fighting it. You need to advocate for yourself in every situation, be it with a doctor, with a family member, with anything. And then you need to be also willing to accept your limits and not lose yourself.
And in the same regard, and because we didn't touch on that, get the support you need, because there are people out there who are battling something like you are and could be a support, like with Mom for a Minute.
Exactly.
You could find somebody going through something similar that already crossed it, that already beat it, that already made it, or has made it further, that wants to help somebody who has just started this. And that way, you know that, like, look, I'm struggling today, but this person who reaches out to me went through this struggle and they made it. And I want to make it because I want to be able to meet them, or I want to be able to, help the next person along because I was helped through my journey. And that's the whole point. And I just feel like I see it becoming a real movement, and I just want to see all our listeners and everybody. I mean, kind of look at the world, man.
A little love goes a long way.
It really does. And a community that is involved is a community that evolves, and evolving into something greater than ourselves. Yeah, I know. Sorry, dude. That is the shit I use to get my freaking shit funding together. Sorry. I am so excited.
That was
for that event good. that I'm
felt like
hosting.
That was a little elevator pitch. You were like, "Hey,
yes, look at me, woohoo!"
Well,
Anyways.
I mean, that's something else that's important. You got to celebrate your small wins. Like, you got to be in tune with it. Don't compare yourself to others. Like I said, we all have issues. We are all just learning. We are all doing this for the first time. But there's no need to compare your wins or your losses with anybody else, because that's not going to help you at the end of the day. That's probably just going to make you more anxious. Yeah. Thinking about looking into everybody else's pockets and deciding if they have more or less than you. That's really
you had actually shared. You had shared on Facebook something, and I think you might have shared it on our page, and it said the difference between you and me is I looked in your bowl to see if you needed more. You looked into mine to see if I had
more. Yep.
And that I thought was a very a very powerful thing, because that's how I think. I look at mine and I think, oh, I have a lot, and I look at yours and I'm like, oh, you don't have as much.
Let me give you
let me give you. Let me share.
Exactly.
Let me bring you up to me, so that way you can be good or happy or whatever. And then we get taken advantage of. So and that's where we end up. We end up, sitting here hating ourselves and starting our own, psychotic whatever break because somebody broke you with taking.
Well, and there's no reason to minimize yourself. Like, you are just perfect as you are. There's no reason for you to shrink yourself to fit into other people's ideas of what you should be. Because you are you, and there's no one youer than you. Isn't that what Dr. Seuss said? There's no one youer than you.
And you should just be you.
And I mean, really, it's the idea that you need a quote unquote reason to be okay. There's no reason. There's no balance. There's no normal. There's just a give and take. You got to give and take, and just trust yourself. At the end of the day, just trust yourself, because you're the person you have to live with 24/7, 365 days a year.
You are 100% right.
So we do want to ask, like, our listeners, what's something that your brain does that just makes no sense? And what does a high functioning day look like for you? What actually helps you on your bad days? Yeah. Like, any kind of advice, we're just totally here for it. Because remember, you don't have to have it all together. You just got to keep going.
Exactly.
So I guess that's where we're going to leave it today. If you take anything from this episode, it's this. You don't have to have it all together to still be moving forward. Some days functioning is the win.
It is.
Some days it's just getting through your own thoughts, and that's enough. If your brain's been doing that thing where it convinces you you're the only one struggling, you're not. Yep. Not even a little.
You are not alone.
Take care of yourself in whatever way that actually looks like for you. Not a Pinterest version, not the picture routine version, the real one. If all else fails, at least now you know it's not just you. And we're all just a little mentally questionable. And we'll see you next time.
Spicy. Girl, bye.
Girl, bye.